Okay. Here's what I'm going to do. You wrote a statement to begin in this whole thing, okay, that is less than truthful. I want to give you the opportunity to write another statement. You can make an apology letter if you want. You can put anything.
I just don't want to go to jail.
Okay. But this is the reason why I want to give you that opportunity is so that I don't confuse anything you've told me. It is your side of the story. Handwritten out, okay, by you. Now I can't.
With
make
my
you
side of the story of the truth, I just told you what's gonna happen to me.
I can't answer that for you. I can tell you you're in trouble right now. You're not free to leave because of all this, because of everything that's going on. I'm not saying that you're going to jail right now, or even when we get done, okay? Because I don't know. I'm gonna have to go back and talk to everybody. I don't know what else is going on around us other than Celeste is talking. So once we get there, then we'll move forward, okay? But you do want to write another statement, right? Telling me your actual side of the story. Do you?
I don't want to go to jail.
I know that.
And if I write that in a statement, I'm going to jail.
No, because what you told me is enough. But you listen to
what do you mean? What I told you is enough. But enough not to send me to jail?
No. It's enough for you to be in trouble and go to jail. What you just told me, that's all. That you're in trouble. Does that mean you're going to jail? I don't know yet. Let me go out there and figure that out. But we've got to get your side of things. And I can either write it in a report, okay, and people can read that, or you can write it also in a statement. That way there's nothing. I get confused. It's your side of the story, and it goes everywhere.
If I personally set up a robbery, if I was like, look, this kid's coming, come rob the hell out of him, why would I bring them to my house? I'm smarter than that. If I was going to set that up, it wouldn't have happened like that. And I wouldn't have done it in my yard. She said that at 4 a.m. By 6, she was being booked on felony murder. Clay County, Florida. July 10th, 2016. Approximately 2 a.m, a pickup truck turns onto County Road 16A in Green Cove Springs and pulls into a driveway. 3 young men are inside. Kolton Shearer is 18 years old. He has a baseball career behind him. He has a whole summer ahead of him. He came because someone he knew sent him an address. He trusted the address because he trusted the person who sent it. What Kolton did not know was that men were already there, waiting, armed, and that the person who sent the address had been asked specifically directly to find someone for those men to rob. Kolton Shearer got out of his truck. He walked toward the porch. He never made it there. He was attacked. He was shot. His friend David Levo, still in the truck, was shot in the leg. Tyler Bashers, the 3rd young man, was ordered to the ground at gunpoint before the attack began. Kolton Shearer was transported to hospital. He did not survive. He was 18 years old. By morning, Clay County investigators had 3 men in custody. Witnesses had identified them quickly. But the investigation had not yet reached the person who had made the entire night possible. As investigators worked the crime scene and processed the 3 men in custody, the shape of the plan began to emerge. It had not been spontaneous, it had been organized. And the organization had started with one instruction given to one person by a man named Jordan Coleman. Coleman lived with Alexandra Schreffler. He wanted to rob someone. He did not go looking for a target himself. He told her to find one. His instruction was specific. Find someone with cash or drugs. Invite them over. The rest would be handled. Coleman did not have a firearm. So Torian Johnson and Ozell McNabb were recruited specifically because they did. The men would be at the house before the target arrived. All Schreffler had to do was get someone to the address. She went to Facebook. She looked at her contacts, and she chose Kolton Shearer. She would later explain why. One word, easy. Kolton Shearer was not someone Schreffler knew closely. They had a Facebook connection, mutual acquaintances, the loose network of a shared county. Enough for a message from her to seem normal. Not enough for him to know what her messages had become. His family has said clearly he was not dealing drugs. He was not running in circles that would put him in proximity to armed men waiting in someone's house. He went because someone he knew invited him. He answered the message because he had no reason not to. He texted back. He asked who she was with. She told him. She did not tell him who else was at the house. She did not tell him what they were planning to do when he arrived. She gave him the address. And then, according to her own account, given to detectives in the early hours of July 10th, she gave him the wrong address multiple times. She gave him the wrong address multiple times. And Kolton Shearer kept trying to find his way there anyway, because she was someone he trusted. Alexandra Schreffler was brought in for questioning in the early hours of July 10th, 2016. She was 21 years old. She was not initially under arrest. She was there, investigators told her, as a witness. They wanted to keep it that way, at least for as long as it served them. The detective's approach was calibrated. He kept the room cold. He offered her water. He got her a blanket. Small acts of comfort that created a specific atmosphere. Not confrontation, but conversation. He wanted her talking. And for the first phase of the interview, she was happy to talk. Her initial account was clean. She had asked Kolton to come over so they could hang out. He arrived. Someone attacked him, one person, she said, coming from the side. She saw it starting. She ran inside. She told her friend Celeste to go to the back bedroom. She heard gunshots. She got on the floor. She had no idea who had been hit. She had no idea who the attackers were. She was a witness. She made sure the detective understood, very frightened. The detective had a specific purpose with the laptop he placed on the table. He wanted to see the messages between Schreffler and Kolton Shearer. She agreed to show him. She walked him through the exchange, voluntarily, cooperatively, in the same tone she had used for the entire interview. The messages she showed him were the ones between her and Kolton. They documented the invitation, the address, the back and forth of a young man trying to navigate to a location a young woman had sent him. What the messages showed investigators was also what they did not show. The messages between Schreffler and Coleman, the conversation in which the instruction had been given, the agreement she had entered before Kolton's name ever entered the exchange. The detective noted the anxiety she was beginning to show as she scrolled. He closed the laptop while she was still logged in. His partner would access the account later. While Alexandra Schreffler was in her room building a story, the three men arrested at the scene were in rooms of their own. And the story emerging from those rooms was not the story in hers. Investigators learned that Coleman had not acted on a sudden impulse. He had been pushing the robbery plan for days. He had specific ideas about what he wanted. Someone with drugs or cash. Someone who could be lured. Someone unlikely to escalate in a way that would cause problems. He had gone to Schreffler with the assignment. Not as a suggestion, as a directive. The picture being assembled was of a plan constructed over time. A target selected from a Facebook contact list. Men positioned in a house. A woman sent a message from the porch to keep the target coming despite wrong addresses. And a young man who had no idea, for not one signal, not one reason to turn around, driving toward a house that had been arranged around his arrival. The detail about the wrong addresses surfaced during the interrogation. Not because the detective asked about it, because Schreffler offered it herself. She told investigators she had given Kolton Shearer the wrong address multiple times. She said she had done it deliberately because she knew what was being planned. And she was trying, in her words, to stop it from happening by making him unable to find the location. She had given him the wrong address multiple times, and Kolton Shearer had kept searching, kept texting, kept navigating, because someone he trusted had invited him somewhere, and he was trying to get there. The details she offered as evidence of her conscience became evidence of something else. She had known the plan. She had known it was a robbery. She had tried, in her own limited way, to disrupt it, not by telling Kolton to stay away, not by calling police, not by telling Coleman to stop, by sending wrong directions, while remaining at the house, while Kolton kept driving toward her. But here is the question the wrong address story cannot answer. She gave him wrong directions. He arrived anyway, and when he pulled into that driveway, when she heard his truck, when she walked outside to meet him, when she was on the phone with him as he stepped out of the vehicle, and she did not warn him. She did not say turn around. She did not say leave. She stayed on the porch, and the men who had been waiting came from wherever they had been waiting. And Kolton Shearer walked toward a porch he never reached. At a certain point in the interview, the detective stopped asking Schreffler to describe what she saw. He started asking her to describe what she knew before it happened. He asked her about the days before July 10th. He asked about Coleman. He asked what Coleman had told her about why he wanted someone brought to the house. He asked her what words she would use to describe why she chose Kolton Shearer specifically. Out of everyone in her contacts, out of everyone she knew, why him? He's a drug dealer. The detective did not move on immediately. He asked again in a different configuration. Why Kolton? Why that name? Why that person? She said Coleman needed someone who would have something worth taking. She said Kolton fit that. She said, in a phrase that would define this case in every courtroom and every news report for the 3 years that followed, he was an easy target. Detectives have a tool available to them in interrogation rooms that is entirely legal and frequently effective. They can tell a suspect that someone else has already talked. They can describe what that person said, and they can watch what happens to the story currently in the room. The detective told Schreffler that her friend Celeste had already spoken with another officer. He told her what Celeste had reportedly said. He said Celeste had told investigators that Schreffler and Coleman had set Kolton up to be robbed. She didn't say that. She said it with certainty, not confusion. Certainty. The certainty of someone who knows what a specific person did or did not say, and because they were part of the same conversation. The detective said she did. The detective told her plainly. The story as she had delivered it couldn't be sustained against the accounts coming from multiple other people in multiple other rooms. He told her that people who cooperated would be treated differently from people who did not. He told her what the charge looked like if she continued to withhold. And then he named it felony murder, not manslaughter, not accessory, not conspiracy. Felony murder, the legal doctrine that holds any participant in a felony responsible for a death that results from that felony, regardless of who pulled the trigger. She had entered into a robbery. Someone died during that robbery. Under Florida law, that was enough. The full account came in pieces. Not a single dramatic confession. A gradual release of what she had been holding. Coleman had been pushing the plan for days. She said he would not stop. She had told him no. She had tried to slow it down by sending Kolton wrong addresses. She had walked outside with Kolton when he arrived. She said because she was trying to get him to leave before it happened. And when it happened anyway, she had gone inside. She had not called for help. She had not called 911. She had waited. She had been standing outside, on the phone with Kolton as he pulled in. She watched him get out of his truck. She watched him walk toward the porch. She said no. She said, please stop. And she watched it happen anyway. When the interrogation is placed, alongside the physical evidence and the accounts from other suspects, the contradictions are structural. She said she did not know what they were planning, but she sent Kolton wrong addresses because she knew what they were planning. She said she had no idea who the attackers were, but she named Coleman immediately when the detective pressed on who had organized it. She said the whole thing was spontaneous. She just wanted to hang out with Kolton. But she had been receiving Coleman's instructions for days before July 10th. She said she tried to stop it. But when Kolton arrived at the correct location, and he's found despite the wrong addresses, she walked outside and stayed on the phone with him until he was within steps of the men waiting for him. The story she walked into the room with did not survive the room. Go back to the beginning of this documentary. The first words she spoke in that room. She asked, "If I personally set up a robbery, why would I bring them to my house?" She offered it as proof of innocence. The logic of it, that a guilty person would not incriminate their own address, was the foundation of the story she built for the first hour of that interview. But the interrogation produced a different answer to her own question. She brought them to her house because it was already Coleman's house. She lived there. She brought them to her house because the men with the guns were already inside it. She brought them to her house because the plan had been constructed there, in her living room in the days before July 10th. And the address was not a choice she made. It was the address that had been chosen for her when Coleman gave her the assignment. She was not setting up a robbery at a random location. She was the front door to a robbery that had been built around where she lived. The address was hers. The invitation was hers. The word she used to describe the target was hers. Easy. That word is the case, not the gun, not the men who carried it. The word a 21-year-old woman used when she looked at Kolton Shearer's profile and decided he was the answer to a question Coleman had asked her. Easy target. Those two words are the case. The legal resolution came in stages across 3 years. Alexandra Schreffler entered a plea agreement in 2016. Her charges were reduced from first-degree murder to armed robbery in exchange for her cooperation and availability to testify against the 3 male co-defendants if the cases went to trial. In March 2019, she was sentenced to 15 years in Florida State Prison. Jordan Coleman pleaded guilty to second-degree murder in July 2018. He was sentenced to 25 years in Florida State Prison. Torian Johnson and Ozell McNabb pleaded guilty to second-degree murder in February 2019. Johnson received 30 years. McNabb received 26. Both addressed the Shearer family in court. McNabb said, "I just want to apologize for the situation." Johnson said, "It was never my intent, and I'm greatly sorry for that." Kolton Shearer's mother spoke at the sentencing of Alexandra Schreffler. She spoke directly to her. "I hold you the most responsible for Kolton's death. Had it not been for your senseless actions of luring him there that night, there's no doubt in my mind that he would still be here with us today. You knew, when sending him that message, that you would be putting him in a terrible situation. He trusted you. He thought of you as a friend, and you took advantage of that. My heart is forever broken. I will never be the same person I was before I lost Kolton. My whole life has been ruined. He got a message. It said, "Come over." It had his name at the top because someone in a contact list had scrolled past it and stopped. Not because of friendship, not by accident, because of a word. Kolton Shearer was killed on July 10th, 2016. He was 18 years old. He drove to an address he trusted because the person who sent it was someone he knew. He found the right house after being sent the wrong address multiple times. He did not know that finding it was the worst thing that could have happened.
Walking up, he gets to that bottom step, and when you mean somebody attacks him, help me understand. Are they tackling him? Are they? I mean, what?
Like it wasn't like somebody was robbing somebody. Like nobody like went up with no guns. I never saw a gun, not one gun. I only heard gunshots. It looked like somebody was mad at him. Like they knew him. Like, I know you. I'm about to beat the fuck out of you, kind of thing. Like it didn't. I mean, I couldn't see Kolton's face or that person's face, but I mean the way it happened, like it looked like that was like somebody meant to do that.
Well, is Kolton having any drama right now? Like, well,
I haven't hung out with him. I know that.
Facebook?
I know that. No, I don't really dramatize on Facebook. Like,
No, I mean,
I use it to communicate.
Does he? Have you seen anything on his page where people are threatening him?
This is the first time I saw him since February.
Okay. Did these people? And you said you saw numerous people.
Key thing. I stopped hanging out with Kolton because he sold cocaine.
Okay.
I don't want to be like a snitch or anything,
No,
but
you don't need
I stopped.
Here, let me tell you something about all that. Honestly, you're going to do Kolton a big favor if you're honest about what he does and everything that he's
I don't know
involved
if he
in.
wants people.
Well, I know, but here's the deal. Okay, he was shot tonight, right? Right?
I don't
Isn't
know.
that what you told me?
I don't know. I know what they have been telling me. I don't know. I don't know for sure that my friend was shot.
Okay. People were shot in that pickup truck. It very well could be Kolton. I'm sorry because I didn't make it out there before I turned around and had to come back out here, or I would know that for sure. So there's a good chance he was shot. I don't care what he does. Okay, he could sell coke. He could do anything. It doesn't give anybody the right to shoot anybody. Okay.
I completely agree.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why don't worry about that. If he sells cocaine, he sells cocaine. I mean, it's dangerous. Obviously, he sells cocaine, but it ain't. I'm not gonna go investigate him for it. The only
I know, but stuff like this happens with stuff like that. This is why I don't hang out with people like this.
It does. What else does he sell?
I don't know. I know he hangs out with everybody in Middleburg that sells drugs.
Okay. Well,
that's why I stopped hanging out.
Are we talking heroin? Or
no, fuck no.
Okay.
I'm just talking about like little jit shit, like fucking cocaine and marijuana, some Xanax on the side, or some fucking dabs, or you know what I'm saying? Nothing like no crack or heroin.
Okay.
Do the people that he hang around with sell that stuff? Yeah. All of them do. They think it's funny to go downtown and sell crack to fucking strangers. They think it's hilarious. I don't think it's funny,
right?
But they think it's hilarious.
Okay.
They do get into some deep shit. Do I go with them? I went with Joey one time, and that was honestly why I stopped hanging out with that crowd, because of Joey individually, and Kolton was just like a friend of his. And Kolton like hit me up on Facebook like 2 days ago, and I was in Middleburg and I was gonna hang out with him, but I didn't. And tonight I was bored and I was like, I'm at my house. I'm not at somebody else's house. If you want to come over, come over. Like, I can invite you to my house. How long have you known Kolton? Last November.
Almost a year? A little
almost
less than a year?
Yeah. Because I talked to Joey in like November, December, January, and February, and Kolton was his friend. So
now be straight with me, okay? Because did he come over with weed or something? I mean, was he bringing dope over?
No, he wasn't bringing anything over. The only thing that I knew that he was bringing was the beer. The beer, that's it.
Is he known to have dope on him? And I'm not trying to say that he was...
That's what I'm... Like, I don't know. I don't know him. He could be completely different of who he was then. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody changes.
When's the last time you hung out with him then? February? So,
I mean, he could still be slinging pounds of cocaine if that's what he wants to do. You know what I mean? But I
just don't know. Okay.
I don't hit him up for like...
Well, because understand, it's just like you said. With his... What he does, this kind of stuff does happen. All right, robberies and stuff like that. Even though you said it didn't seem like a robbery, but that's it. Most likely when people take a chance of robbing somebody, especially.
But by my house, I don't even really.
I don't know that. We'll get to the bottom of it. We're gonna find out. But someone decided to specifically rob them at that point for some reason.
That's what I'm saying.
And that would lead me to believe maybe he was bringing over some marijuana or something. And some idiots were like, you know what, let's get this.
I don't know. I don't think it was robbing. Like, Kolton didn't even say, hey, I have a gun in the truck, like nothing. Like, he didn't.
Okay. Well, let's go back. So anyway, so these guys come up. Do Kolton and this person start fighting immediately? Is there anything said to Kolton? What kind of helped me understand what's happening there?
I walked out the door. Well, I kicked the door open.
Right.
I said, I see you. He walked around the thing. He was laughing. I said, Celeste's putting on some shorts and, like, do you want to go or do you want to stay? What do you want to do? And he's like, I don't know. Boom.
Okay.
I didn't even see this person. Like, I really didn't even see this person until they were, like, on the ground right here. Like, until I saw someone on top of Kolton. Like, I thought it was, like, somebody got out of the other side of the truck and came up and was, like, playing with him.
How did Kolton get on the ground?
The person knocked him out.
Okay, punched him. I mean, came up and stuck him or
I
tackled him.
assume because
Somehow
they,
he
like, it didn't, like, what I'm saying is, like, when I was standing on the porch, it didn't look like what happened. And I don't know what happened after I went inside, but, like, it didn't look like somebody was about to fucking get shot and people were, none of that was.
During the interrogation, Alexandra tries to appear cooperative.
No, not very many
She talks
people go through
quickly.
stuff like that.
And then
She
I went in the
provides
back bedroom
long
and I sat there with
explanations.
Celeste and I was like,
And she
call the cops, call the
constantly
cops.
adds
She said, my
details
cousin's dead.
nobody
I was like,
asked
do
for.
something. And she's
But
like, I don't know what to do.
experienced
And she started
investigators
crying.
recognize
And
this
then we
behavior
went to the
immediately.
bathroom, we sat
When
there.
someone begins oversharing
I got
before
out of the
serious
bathroom, I went
questions
into
are
the living
even
room, and I
asked,
opened the
it
curtain,
often means
and
one
Kolton
thing.
was sitting
They
in
are
the
trying to
passenger seat.
control the narrative
But he didn't look
before
like
the
he was
truth
shot.
has a
Nobody
chance
looked
to
like they were
surface.
shot.